how Carolina disappeared into the invisible city of Biringan. Ghost lights and portals. Chapter 1: The Call That Never Should Have Come. I still hear her voice, soft, trembling, yet unmistakably Carolina. It was the kind of voice that pulled at your heart like cold hands grasping a warm flame. She didn't call like a friend. She called like someone reaching out from the edge of the world. We were three, me, Carolina, and Jace, classmates since high school, bonded by laughter, late-night study sessions, and adventures that never quite felt dangerous until that night. Carolina had always been the curious one. She'd read every travel blog, studied every myth from Visayas to Luzon, and she wasn't afraid of ghosts. But Biringan, that was different. The legend whispered in corners of Samar and across forums like an unspoken dare. A city no map could show. A place where the lost went to stay lost. She called from Samar, her voice echoing through the static. "You guys have to come. I found something incredible." Jace laughed it off initially, teased about another one of her ghost hunts. But something in her tone, a tremor I now recognize, made the hairs on my arm stand on end. I booked tickets before dawn. The sun barely broke when Jace and I arrived in Calbayog City. The air was heavy with tropical heat and something else, a quiet, lingering hush like the lull between heartbeats. Carolina had texted coordinates near a tangle of forests connecting Gandara and Pagsanhan, Philippines, where Biringan was said to lie, unseen by ordinary eyes. The locals we asked dismissed her description with nervous smiles. Some whispered of unusual lights in the woods. Others warned of the portals, old trees with gnarled roots that supposedly opened into the unseen city. They warned us, never eat anything if you enter. But Carolina wanted answers, and I followed because I trusted her. If only I had known what trust would cost. Night came quickly in Samar's jungle. We reached the first of the great trees, ancient and looming, dripping with moss and secrets. The forest was still, too silent, like the world itself was holding its breath. That night, Carolina spoke of a light she'd seen, a city silhouette, steel spires shimmering like stars against the dark. I should have stopped her then. I didn't. And then we heard it, a voice calling her name, Carolina, Carolina, echoing from deep within the forest. Chapter 2: Into the Shadow Between Worlds. Carolina didn't hesitate. She stepped between the trees like she was walking into daylight, but the space swallowed her instantly, like a curtain pulled into nothingness. I remember Jace grabbing my arm, eyes wide. "Did you see that?" he whispered, but the shadows were already twisting behind us. We stepped after her. What I first saw was not a forest. It was a corridor of dim lights, like electric lanterns flickering without source. The air smelled of ozone and wet soil. Every rustle sounded like whispers, not human, not quite animal. My heart hammered. Carolina's voice drifted somewhere ahead, light and distant, urging us forward. We found ourselves in a clearing that shouldn't have existed, a cobblestone square paved with black stones, sleek buildings towering like obsidian sentinels around us. Street lamps hummed with quiet energy. I knew instantly this was no ordinary place, and definitely no ordinary hallucination. It was impossible, but it was real. Carolina stood ahead near a fountain of dark water. Her eyes were wide, unblinking, like she was seeing something beyond us. Her voice, once warm and recognizable, had changed. It carried a strange lilt,
something ancient and not entirely human. "You made it," she said, breathless. "I knew you would." Jace stepped forward. "Caroline, this place, what is it?" She smiled, but there was a flicker in her gaze I'll never forget. Biringan, the invisible city. I should have backed away, should have turned around and run, but before I could speak, the ground beneath us pulsed like a heartbeat. Figures appeared, tall, graceful shapes with luminescent eyes that reflected no light. Some had features like ours, others not. Their faces were smooth, their voices silk over blade. They called Carolina by a name I didn't recognize. They welcomed us, or welcomed us. Time here didn't feel linear. 30 seconds felt like minutes, minutes felt like hours. The lights of this place, so bright and strange, danced in my vision. I remember Carolina laughing, drawn towards them like a moth to flame, her footsteps unsteady, enchanted. And then one touched her wrist, gentle, and she vanished. Just like that. No scream, no warning. She just disappeared.
Chapter 3: The Price of Curiosity. I remember the silence first, like the forest itself exhaling, as if the world had swallowed its own heartbeat. Carolina was gone, just like that. One moment she stood beside me, her eyes shining under that strange glow, and the next she was nothing but empty air. My breath caught in my throat. I staggered back, heart hammering as Jace's voice cracked beside me. "Matt, did you see that?" he whispered, voice shaking like dry leaves. I didn't answer. My mouth was too dry. My senses were firing off like sparks, the hum of unseen lights, the soft thrum beneath my feet, like the place itself was alive. The encanto figures didn't move. They just watched, their luminous eyes unblinking in the half-light between worlds. I felt like a trapped animal, pinned by a predator's gaze. Breathing became a struggle. Time itself seemed twisted. A minute felt like an hour, fevered and slow. I turned to Jace, his face pale. "We have to find her," he said, but even he sounded hollow, as though the words weren't his own. We walked. The black cobblestones swallowed our steps, absorbing our fear. The buildings around us didn't feel like structures. They felt like eyes watching, waiting. I tried to tell myself this was just a dream, a shared hallucination brought on by heat exhaustion and superstition, but something in my bones told me otherwise. Then we saw her. Carolina stood at the fountain, that eerie pool of dark water that reflected nothing. She was smiling, but it wasn't her smile. It was too wide, too perfect, like she'd learned how to mimic joy. "Matt, Jace," she said, voice smooth and distant. "You shouldn't be here." I took a step forward, heart pounding again. "Carolina, what happened? Where are we? How do we get out?" She hesitated. Her eyes flickered in a way that made my stomach twist. "This is Biringan. It's beautiful and terrifying and real. Once you see it, you belong to it." Jace reached for her hand, and she backed away. "Matt, don't," he warned, but I was already moving, drawn by her gaze like a moth to flame. It was then I noticed the food laid out on a stone table nearby, bowls of strange fruits, dark rice that shimmered like obsidian, and water that looked like liquid night. A terrifying memory surged in my mind. Locals in Samar once warned travelers about accepting food from Biringan's inhabitants, especially the black rice, because eating it meant you could never leave. My breath froze. I looked at Carolina, and her eyes weren't hers anymore. They were the ancient, unreadable stare of something not quite human. "Eat," she said softly. "You won't regret it." And I knew, just knew, that if I did, I would never come home. Chapter 4: The Choice Between
between worlds. My mind felt like a storm. The black rice on the stone table seemed to pulse with its own life, as if calling to something buried deep inside me. My hands shook uncontrollably. Something inside my body wanted to reach out, to take a bite, just one bite, but reason screamed in the darkness of my thoughts, don't eat it. I remembered the warnings we'd heard before we ever came here. Never eat the food offered by the city's inhabitants. To do so meant your soul was bound here forever, trapped between worlds. Matt. Jace's voice was barely a whisper. His eyes were wide, fear and confusion dancing there in equal measure. He reached out and gripped my shoulder, as though if he let go, I'd vanish like Carolina did. I looked at him, really looked, and saw the weight of terror that had replaced his easy grin from just hours ago. Carolina stood under the ghost lights, watching us. Her face seemed unchanged, but there was something off. Her presence no longer felt warm. It was cold, like a memory replaying itself with tremors of something inhuman beneath it. And then she spoke again, but not with her voice, with something echoing through us. "Why are you afraid?" she said, stepping closer. "This place is perfect. You can stay here, with me." I felt something twist in my chest. Her words were gentle, inviting, almost comforting, and yet every instinct inside me screamed false. There was a softness to her expression that seemed genuine, but the light in her eyes flickered like flame caught in a draft. I swallowed. "Carolina, you're not her anymore," I said quietly. She tilted her head. For the first time since we entered this place, I saw confusion cross her expression, as if two minds battled behind those glowing eyes. Then her face shattered into a sad smile. "You're brave," she breathed, "or foolish." She took a step back, her silhouette melting into the haze of Biringan's glowing skyline. The encanto figures, tall, graceful beings with flickering reflections, closed in around us. Their silent gazes were unreadable. I felt the air thicken, and my heartbeat roared in my ears. A thought as cold as night struck me. This place wasn't ours. We never belonged here, and the city didn't want us to stay. It wanted to collect us. I looked at Jace again. His eyes met mine, and in that one moment, we understood each other without a word. We turned, away from the city, away from the tantalizing promise of a world both horrific and beautiful. We turned back toward the way we came, toward the forest, the ancient paths, and the unknown beyond. But Biringan didn't let us go quietly. Whispers chased us, shadows curled in our peripheral vision. Every moment felt like stretched, like running underwater while the world watched. And yet, we kept moving, step after trembling step. With each breath, the city's glow receded behind us. I never believed I'd see the old Balit trees again, but we did. The forest breathed life into the edges of my senses as we crossed the threshold back into our world, back into reality, trembling and alive. And when we emerged under the moonlit sky, the world felt unbearably real. The smell of soil, the wind against my skin, and the distant call of night birds. No black rice, no whispering voices. Just the world as we once knew it. But in the back of my mind, in the cold corners of memory, I knew Biringan was still out there, a city between worlds, waiting. If this descent into the shadows of Biringan left you with chills, then you're not alone. Smash that like button if you felt the fear with me, and comment down below telling us, would you have followed Carolina into the invisible city? If the unknown and unexplained is your obsession like it is mine, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another eerie legend we unpack next week. Stay curious, stay brave, and until next time, keep your lights on after dark. Infinite thanks for subscribing, liking, and commenting on our video. Godspeed.